What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Velani Consulting and the Cultural Shift. This is Phase of Velani, the podcast where we bring leaders and entrepreneurs and talk about their habits of success. And today we have another special guest with us. We've got Usman Noor. Usman, how's it going, my man?
I'm good, buddy. How are you? How's it going?
Doing fantastic, man. We're kind of caught in the line of storm. We've got two tropical thunderstorms coming our way right now, so everybody's kind of bunkering down. But besides that, everything's pretty well over here.
That's cool. That's cool. Over here in Bahrain, I'm from Bahrain, so over here it's pretty. It's like hot these days,
Yeah.
hot and humid. That's how the temperature and the environment is in Gulf. So yeah,
Right.
that's our story.
I can understand that. Usman, let me give you the floor. Why don't you tell the audience a little bit about yourself? You have a pretty interesting story. I'm going to let you kind of talk about how you got to this particular point.
Well, I'll be really honest with you, Faisal. Being born in Pakistan and being the youngest son, in Asian culture, we come across like a father knows what this elder son is gonna be. A father knows what his middle son is gonna be. A father knows what I'm gonna make. My father wanted me to be a lawyer.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
I wanted to be an accountant.
Okay.
But I ended up being an MBA.
So you defied everybody. You defied your dad. You defied yourself.
Everybody, because when I was choosing when I thought that I'm gonna opt for the ACCA and I'm gonna be a chartered accountant, I'm gonna go to Wales and all of that.
Right.
I started doing it. I went it. I enrolled in that, and what happened is after that, after the first three like subjects, I was like, I couldn't get the feel of it. I was like,
Right.
I think I'm in the wrong place. I think I made the wrong choice.
Uh-huh.
So I came back to my father saying that no, I'm not gonna be this thing anymore.
Okay.
And he was like, so he thought, like in our Asian culture, it's like he thought that I'm not gonna study anymore. I'm giving up.
Yeah.
So that was, in a bit of that, I told him, no, I just want to go pursue MBA. And he was like, and that too in marketing, not in like finance and accounting, that too in marketing.
Right.
So my father was like, man, this is a totally different world that you're talking about. You were in a different zone. Now you want to switch out and go do something else.
Right.
Are you really sure? And I was like, yeah, I think so.
You sound very convincing, by the way, right now.
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, I think so. The reason behind that is I was guided in that path by a course instructor who was like a course instructor in that institute where I was doing ACCA.
Okay.
So he told me that all of the class have an assignment and you have to write an essay of like 1,500 words.
Okay.
And in Pakistan, English is not our primary language.
Right.
And in order to produce a content in that, and you just have to go through, and you just have to choose a topic of your choice, and you have to do it yourself. It's not like he has given me a topic and I have to do that.
Yeah.
So I went home, and for some reason I was writing about thinking out of the box.
Okay.
That is the thought that came to my mind, and I started writing about it.
Right.
And I just, whatever I just wrote, I produced my content to him. I just gave it to him. And when I was sitting with him in a one-on-one assessment with him, it was a one-on-one assessment. He said, I will be assessing everyone individually. I was sitting with him, and he was like, where are you from? And I was like, yeah, I was born in a very small town, which is Multan in Pakistan, and I did all my basic education up till that point from there. And now I've moved to Lahore, which is a bigger city compared to my city, and now I'm getting my education here. And he was like, "You're lying. You have done A levels from some English school, and you're lying to me." And I was like, I have no idea. Yeah. I cannot lie to you because I have no idea. Okay. And he was like, the way you are writing, you are not someone who should be in the bounds, because when it comes to accounting and finance, there are gaps. There are generally accepted principles that you have to follow.
Right.
There are balance sheets. There's a structure.
Credits and balances, and you follow the laws.
There's a structure. You have to be in a structure. You cannot go out. There is
Right.
no way you can go up. You have to stay in the zone.
Right.
He told to me, he just said to me specifically, you are not made for this shit.
Okay. I
And
love
I
that,
was
by the way. I love the fact that he had the galls to tell you up front, this is not what you should be doing.
exactly, this is what he told me, you are not made for this shit.
Uh-huh.
Then I asked him, what should I do? He didn't answer that.
Okay, that's great.
And then I just came out of that room, and I was thinking, man, this is, this is guidance. This
Right.
is something you cannot just take for granted. This is something you have to listen to,
Right.
because this could make or break your life. You might end up doing something which you don't like.
Yeah.
And I could see that. I could see that coming, because I could see I cannot survive in the systems. I don't want to be in that system. I just
Right.
want to go out, think whatever can be done. If there is something that can be achieved by going out, I'll do that.
Yeah.
So the way I just started, it took me 3 to 4 months to realize that I have to go and pursue my MBA. It
Okay.
wasn't like this. I just came out and just a flash of a genius. Oh, let's go do MBA. It wasn't like that.
Right. So I have to ask you because I don't think the world knows. I'm from Pakistan as well. I was born in Karachi, Noorabad.
Yeah.
And I don't think the world realizes the big difference between Indian culture and Pakistani culture, right?
It's
I
huge.
have a ton of Indian friends, ton of them. And as strict as India is, Pakistan's even much more strict, right? You cannot be creative in Pakistan. You cannot have a creative bone. India is
No.
still a little bit more flexible
Yeah.
with their kids, and because they've got this flourishing movie industry, right? Bollywood is the second biggest industry in the world, so they're a lot more open to, okay, if you want to be a singer, dancer, performer, actor, artist, whatever it is, you have a little bit of flexibility. I'm very curious to know about your conversation with your dad, because I know when I had that conversation with my dad, in my family, you're not allowed to switch tracks. You pick the track, you stick on that track. If you switch tracks, you're absolutely giving up. So what was that conversation like? Did he just agree to it, or you really had to work your magic?
What do you think?
I'm absolutely sure you got that
No.
disappointment look, right? The silence and the disappointment look, and I can't believe, beta, you're doing this. Like I'm pretty sure you got that.
He was silent for a minute,
There
and
you
I
go.
thought my life is over.
Yes, it's the longest minute of your life.
I am done.
Yeah.
And it took me 3 to 4 months to convince him,
Right.
along with the help of my elder brothers,
Okay.
that I don't want to end up doing something I don't like.
Yeah.
It's not a matter of pursuing a degree for me. It's a matter of for me to honestly pursue what I want to do.
Okay.
So between 3 to 4 months, he gave it a thought, and he saw me that I'm not gonna give up on that.
Okay.
He's not turning back. So we have to agree. So let him do this. So I just got off from that ACCA raft, and I hopped onto this MBA boat.
Okay.
Now, everything that I was thinking about that MBA, it wasn't there.
Okay.
It wasn't there. I was thinking I'm gonna go. There's gonna be tons and tons of content that I'm gonna go through. There's gonna be tons and tons of information that I'm gonna go through, and I'm gonna turn out to be a marketing genius.
Yeah.
But it didn't happen. So
Okay.
I was again going through the books,
Uh-huh.
cramming, grading system, cramming, grading system. You know what the book says, and you write it back, and you get A grade, and everybody's like, "Wow, this guy's an
Yeah.
A grade.
Yeah.
He's got the highest GGPA. He's the brightest star." And I
Yeah.
was like, watching all of them, because to be honest, books never made sense to me.
Yeah.
Never. I never applied anything that I've learned in my life. Never solidly apply anything that I learned from school, from college, from now till now. I
Right.
have never ever applied the formulas that were taught to us.
Yeah.
Never. Where did I apply the formula? Never in my
Yeah.
single day of my life.
It's funny that you said that, because I graduated with a marketing degree as well. You and I sound like we have very similar paths. And you're right. My GPA when I graduated was a 3.95 out of 4. It was super high. But the word that you said, applied, I have never applied any of that secular knowledge to any part of my life. I've applied these knowledges, right?
Yeah,
The other books that I've read once I got out of college, but
yeah.
the stuff that I read in college, never can I go back and say, man, this really helped. I applied this in any part of my life. None
It
whatsoever.
never, it never does.
Yeah.
That is the problem with the education system.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of people say it's a scam. It is a scam because it teaches you something which doesn't exist out there.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, when I graduated, when I finally pursued my MBA, it was
Mhm.
2011.
Okay.
There were no jobs because the world was coming out of that 2008-9
Yeah.
recession, and everything was getting back onto the track. So I was offered a job at by my father's reference in Pizza Hut for 12,000 Pakistani rupees.
Oh
I,
man. Okay.
I I went there.
Right.
They interviewed me for day one. Day two, they called me. I went there. They showed me my routine, how I'm gonna end up in the kitchen for 3 weeks, how I'm gonna end up on floor for 3 weeks, how I'm
Right.
gonna end up in the front desk for 3 weeks, how I'm gonna end up getting the ingredients and everything, for
Yeah.
the pizza and all the storage and all for 3 weeks. And I was like, that's it. And they were
Yeah.
like, yeah, this is what we do to make a pizza. I said, I did an MBA to do something. I don't want to make a pizza. My friend, I can make a pizza without doing an MBA.
Yeah.
Everybody does that out there. Why did I go to a university?
Yeah.
And luckily, I was for some reason I'm very lucky. I find myself lucky. There
Okay.
was there was a trainer who was sitting there who used to train the staff.
Okay.
That guy was a university senior of mine.
Okay.
I asked him a question bluntly, what do you like about your job? He
Okay.
said he said free pizza. And I was like, holy shit. Holy shit. These
Wow.
guys are giving up their life for just a slice of a pizza.
Yeah.
I can do that. Even if I'm making the world's best pizza,
Mhm.
that makes sense. If I'm making the world's best pizza and I'm selling it out to the world, makes sense to me. But
Yeah.
I'm making it for the people who don't even realize a lot of effort that goes into getting that pizza to your table. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna do that, and I'm not gonna do that for 12,000 rupees.
Mhm.
It's my time. I should
Yeah.
be. I always had this sense of bartering my time,
Right.
not my degree, not my youth or something. I was always about time.
So 12,000 rupees for the people who might be listening in the States. I think now the conversion is like $120, give or take, maybe 110.
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
what the numbers are.
It's 130 and 140. It's not 110, 120. It's high. Yeah.
Wow.
So
Okay. Yeah. So 12,000 rupees would be about $100 over here, give or take.
yeah, and they wanted me to do 12-hour shift,
Right.
3 days in the day and 3 days in the night. And I was like, where's my life?
Wow. Okay.
So I
Yeah.
said no to them. And I went again back to my father,
Hmm.
because it was his reference. I
Right.
went back to him and I said, I am not gonna do that job. And again, 1 minute of silence, which was like, and I was like, man, this time I'm really gone. It's the second time he's not gonna forgive me.
Right.
But I told him that I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna find something on my own. You don't have to worry about me. You've done your bit.
Right.
Why should you be worrying about me, that I should get a job? I have acquired a knowledge. I've gone through a process. I should be able to do it for myself now.
Yeah.
Why should anyone be babysitting me right now?
Sure.
So I went out there. I met a university junior of mine. He knew me because, like I am right now, I'm very audible when it comes to helping people. That's what
Okay.
that's what I've done throughout all my life. So I helped him in one of his small businesses at that point of time because he belonged to a very industrialist family. So he was running a small show in which
Okay.
he needed help because he was still pursuing his study and he didn't even have the knowledge of that thing.
Okay.
So he told me he has a friend of his
Hmm.
who has a barber salon,
Okay.
and he has qualified. He has gone to France. He's gone to Paris. He's gone to all of the England and all that. He has gained that qualifications,
Hmm.
but he's unable to translate that into local business.
Okay.
So I was like, I want to meet this guy.
Right.
I went on, I met this guy, our frequencies matched because I knew he has a very strong business. He has
Okay.
a very strong business acumen, but for some reason he's unable to, channel that energy.
Right.
So that was my first consulting business. That was my first consulting client, right outside of the university. I
Right.
just spoke with him for 10 minutes and I said yes. I
Okay.
didn't ask for details. I didn't even discuss money, to be honest with you, Faisal. I was
Right.
like, I'm going to deliver. And because I was testing myself,
Sure.
I didn't know. I didn't know if I'm going to be able to do what I'm thinking to do.
Yeah.
Because the second day when I turned up to his office to start doing work, he told me I have a $0 budget, my friend. I have a zero penny for marketing.
Right.
You have to do marketing because you have done MBA. And I was like, okay, I've
Sure.
done MBA, but I don't have a magic wand. But still,
Yeah.
still I'll do that because back in 2011,
Uh-huh.
Facebook had the organic reach,
Yeah. Which is
like
what
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn has now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So I used that at point of time with zero marketing budget. We took the market share increased the market share to around 30 to 40% in first year,
Wow. Okay. That's massive.
just using the organic growth of that Facebook.
That's
That's it.
amazing.
People didn't know him. People started to know him. People started to know he can do that. I mean, he's got the style. He can, if you sit, with him as his barber, he's going to give you the look
Right.
because he knew all the technicalities.
Okay.
So from there we started, and then we got some money because we started making money. So we
Mm-hmm.
had budgets for then he allocated me his first budget for marketing, and
Okay.
he told me I want to run ads
Mm-hmm.
on local cables, or if we can
Mm.
afford, we can go out there and get one billboard. That would be great.
Oh
And
no. Okay.
and I said we don't need that
Yeah.
because we have the money. we
Right.
have we know what we do. We know,
Mm-hmm.
and we are the best in what we're doing. In our section, we are the best.
Right.
So we will approach the people below the line. We will
Okay.
not go above the line. ATL is not for us for now. We
Yeah.
go below the line. So I targeted all the universities,
Okay.
all the universities in Lahore,
Right.
around 5 to 20 kilometers radius of that salon.
Uh-huh.
And I started doing events in that university. I started sponsoring the fashion shows. I started sponsoring their cultural dramas. I started
Yeah.
sponsoring Mother's Day event. Even I started sponsoring anything or everything they threw at me
Right.
because the sponsoring cost was nothing. Was just like style this person, give makeup to this person, and we'll
We'll put your name
we'll
out there.
we'll
Yeah.
put your name on that, and you get the chance to give your coupons
Yeah.
to everybody. So
Right.
from there, his market share increased rapidly.
Okay.
Everybody started turning up to that salon. Now the problem arises. We had footfall. We had a lot of footfall,
Right.
but his team was not trained to shuffle that.
Okay.
So I'll say I was the first one in Pakistan
Mm-hmm.
to introduce a 15 to 30 minutes gap or a window on a particular service station on which you're sitting.
Right.
You will have your service between 15 to 30 minutes, and you will be shuffling your footfall. Nobody will be sitting and waiting for more than 15 to 20 to 30 minutes, and
Wow.
everybody will be getting their services within 15 to 30 minutes.
Okay.
It's like an in and out, 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 in and out. They used to operate between 15 to 18 hours in a day.
That's a lot. Okay.
So between 15 to 18 hours day, there wasn't a single time in which their salon was empty.
That's amazing. Okay. How many people
So
did he have working there?
we had a staff of around 25 people at that time.
25 people.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was a big show.
Yeah,
It
it
was
sounds
a
like it.
it was a big show. It had around 12 service counters, like we call them, like seats and mirror and all that.
Right.
I call them a service counter. So if you have a service counter, the person who is working on it is responsible
Mhm.
to give the service within 15 to 30 minutes, depending upon the type of service.
Right.
And he has to make sure he makes it clean for the next one.
Wow, man. Okay, so I come from a business process background. This is what I used to do. So what I'm hearing is You had a 25 people staff. You had about 18 to 20 hours. So that's about 500 almost opportunities. And if you were going to do 15 to 30-minute increments, you've got minimum 1,000 opportunities to turn over a client on a daily basis.
Yes,
And none of
exactly.
those opportunities were wasted. Every single
No.
one of them were filled.
Yes, exactly. You're
That,
very right.
that's a massive success. That's enormous.
And because of that, that salon has now franchised and has expanded into other cities
That's amazing. Okay.
and have expanded their branches in the same city and everywhere. So that's how it was a simple tweak. It was just a
Right.
simple tweak, like between 15 to 30 minutes. You have to
Right.
make sure that everybody gets their service, and you have to make sure that you get the footfall to match that. Because
Absolutely.
if the workers don't have the footfall, there's no point.
Yeah. That's amazing. So that was your first client that you got.
That was my first client.
Wow.
Then after working with them for like 4 to 5 years, I did the same for another client. I did the same for another client. It was a rinse and repeat for me. It became
Right.
rinse and repeat method for me. So I problem with me is if I don't have a challenge, I will not even get out of my bed.
Right. You sound like a project oriented person. You need a project.
Simple. I need something to work on. If I don't have, or if I find it that it's like easy for me now.
Right.
It's a process, anyone can do it for me. So I'm like someone who likes challenges.
Yeah.
So
I have a line that I tell people. I like finding clarity in chaos. You sound a
yeah,
lot like that. You need the chaos so you can fix it.
yes, exactly. So what I did is that I stopped doing all that and I moved to Dubai.
Okay.
That was back in 2014 and then 15.
Okay.
So there, I had never spoken a single phrase or a full sentence in English, to be honest with you, back in
Really?
2000. Yeah, because it's not like that in Pakistan. You know where we come from. So
Yeah.
even in the universities, you go by reading and write. You memorize your script and you go in and you give your
Yeah.
presentation. It's an in and out. It's
Yeah.
not like a impromptu thing like we are
Not
doing
muscle
right now.
memory. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just got there because my brother has been there for like since 2007. So
Okay.
I had the support from him that I have a place to stay and I'll get the support. But as
Okay.
soon as I landed, I was going back home with him, and he was
Hmm.
like, "What I'm gonna provide you is with the shelter and
Hmm.
food. I don't know anybody in this your field because he's an ACCA,
Yeah.
and I don't know anyone how to get a job for you. That's your job. You have to
Right.
figure out what you're gonna do." And I was
Okay.
like, "Fair enough, fair
Yeah.
enough. That's what I've been doing all my life. So that's nothing new."
Right.
The only thing is that I don't know maybe I'm not familiar with the language as of now. I'm
Hmm.
not familiar with the people, maybe not familiar with the culture, maybe not familiar with the roads. But
Yeah.
it's not something that you cannot do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dubai is an interesting place. You have the East and the West that meet in such a dramatic fashion where the East has kept their culture, yet the West has been able to come in and do their entertainment. I've been to Dubai, I think 3 times now. One was probably in 2014 or 15. I have a good friend who lives there, and it is so fascinating to see how they've been able to do this melting pot without actually losing their identity.
It's great. It's awesome. It's something which is like I find it unique.
Yeah,
It's you can't find it anywhere else
yeah,
with that amount of clarity.
yeah.
There are other Gulf states which are doing it, but they're not clear in what they're doing.
No.
Dubai is clear that this is what they want. We want East and West to survive together.
Yeah.
That's it.
I'll tell you a really fascinating story. I told some of my friends when I came back from Dubai because I have family who live there, and they all tell stories of how safe Dubai is, right? Like Dubai is the safest place in the world. I was like, yeah, sure, I'll believe it when I see it. My wife and I came to Dubai. We had horrible jet lag. We couldn't sleep, so we were by a metropolitan mall, and
Okay.
we got down. We went to one of the dhabas to eat food, and it's I think 3 in the morning, and this guy pulls up in a Lamborghini, opens the door, the car is running. He goes in the hotel and he sits there to eat. The car seriously, the doors open and he's eating for about an hour. Nobody came near his car, nobody touched his car, nobody did anything. And he comes outside, closes the door, and he leaves. And my wife and I are sitting there in fascination. We're like, wow, I mean, I
You,
had heard that nobody will mess with you, but that kind of security was just like, wow, I can't believe they have this here.
you can't even think of doing this anywhere else.
No, absolutely not.
Not even in US,
Yeah,
not even in UK, not even in Europe, nowhere.
yeah. And
By the
I
time
told,
you end up eating your food, you lose that Lamborghini.
well, I told my uncle who lives there, I'm like, I saw this, but I'm like, I didn't see any police officers. His words to me were, "You'll never see them, but they are everywhere." He's like, just
Everywhere.
try to do something and see what happens. I was like,
Exactly.
oh, I'll take your word on it.
The best part about Dubai is it's small
Yeah,
and it's easy to operate. Whatever, like compared to US, India, and even Pakistan, they're huge landscape,
yeah,
and it's so diverse and it's so difficult to manage that terrain. To be very honest,
yeah,
compared to Dubai,
yeah.
and
No,
they've got the money. They've got money to have the tech. It's the tech that is driving that city or that entire emirate. It's not the people, to be
yeah.
honest.
Well, I mean, they've used their technology to the best of their abilities, right? Like a lot of people, even here in the U.S., I what I do is I work with companies to help them scale up. One of the biggest problems that I have, even though these companies were brought up in the U.S., is they fear technology. They fear autonomousness. They feel like if they took people out of the process, it will hurt them. And the best companies in the world are the ones who let technology do their work, and they've moved their people to strategy, right? They haven't gotten rid of their people, they just moved them to strategy, and that's what's finding them so much success.
True. I can relate to that in a sense because then when we expanded that business back in Pakistan that we were talking about, that salon business,
Hmm.
I introduced a CRM system in that.
Okay.
And that CRM system was integrated to all the four branches in that particular. If you go to any branch
Right.
and you stand in front of the camera, that particular camera will pull out your profile,
Hmm.
and the serviceman who's going to do your service will get to see what was his last service and who did that,
Okay.
because it's very in a barber or in this segment, it's very important because people wait in line for hours to have a cut from a barber.
Yeah.
They have an attachment, emotional attachment to that guy.
Yes.
It's not like they just go in and sit under anyone and have a cut and roll out. It
Yeah.
doesn't happen
Yeah.
anywhere in the world. Even if you and me, I have a specific barber now where I go, and if he's not there, I just don't get a cut. I don't let anybody else
Yeah.
do the service for me.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So with that thing, what helped is like we had profile of every customer.
Okay.
We had profiling of every customer. What do they like? What time do they like?
Hmm.
And when they like coming up to the salon,
Right.
and who is their favorite uh, barber, who is their
Harvard.
favorite stylist.
Right.
So I could shuffle my staff
Hmm.
based on the requirements. I could see that this guy is very he's getting a lot of attention.
Yeah.
This guy is becoming a superstar, so I have to increase his service rates. He cannot continue to
Right.
serve he cannot continue to serve them at a lower rate.
Yeah.
So he has to serve them at a higher rate, and they all will come saying, "Okay, my lord, we will give you the
Yeah.
money."
We'll pay for it. Especially, I mean, especially the young kids, right? They're very, I don't even want to say young college kids. They're very attached to their style. They have to make sure they're up to date. Social media has blown up, so their pictures are everywhere. They have to be up to date.
Well, everybody has, in one way or another, everybody have realized that they are a brand.
Oh yeah,
Everyone has realized that they are a brand, either small, big, large, medium, whatsoever.
yeah,
Everybody, even if they're not, they're trying to.
yeah.
Which I like about. I mean, so you couldn't do this 20 years back. There
No,
is no way you could think of doing something like that 20 years back.
no. I was telling somebody this podcast that I do. Just 10 years from now, if I wanted to do it, I would have to shell out $10,000 to $20,000 for a production team, a camera crew, lighting. Now I can do this sitting at home. I've got my computer, my phone, and a mic that I bought for $50, and I'm ready to go.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
It's a whole new world now.
That's what tech does to you. If
Yeah,
if you're willing to adapt to it.
yeah, absolutely. So Osman, before we start running out of time, I want to ask you, in one of my posts, I think I had said that I wanted to be a Bollywood actor. I kind of talked about how I've done stage shows and dance shows, and I really enjoyed that world, and that's kind of what led me here. I think I remember reading a comment from you saying you wanted to as well. I can't let you go without talking about that. Tell me a little bit about that, and why did you walk away from that?
It was very important for me to go and face people,
Hmm.
and to be honest, get rejected. I wanted that to happen.
Okay.
I wanted that to happen at a very young and early age of my life. So
Okay.
for that reason, I formed a band back in when I was in the university. I
Mhm.
formed a musical band, and again, I couldn't do it like everybody else was doing it. So I
Right.
had a female lead singer with me.
Nice. Okay.
I said, I'm not gonna do it the way everybody's doing. They just pick up a guitar and the guy is singing, and the girls are going, "Wow, this guy's amazing." I didn't do that way. And on top of that, I was singing English songs.
Okay.
So it wasn't my market.
Right.
It wasn't my audience. They
Mhm.
were not my people, but I was banging their door again and again, and they were rejecting me again and again and again. Eventually, accepted me.
Okay. So
Yeah.
okay, I that's fascinating because I talk a lot about failure. So what is it about failure that drew you so close to it? Because I do believe that once you accumulate in a failure, you find success. You don't ever find success without that failure. So what
True.
drew you to that?
Again, I to be very honest, from day one, I realized that
Mhm.
all those great people who have achieved greatness and are successful, they were
Yeah.
never successful on day one.
Yeah.
You have to trust the process.
Yes.
There is no other way. And even if if you don't try, you will never get to know.
Yeah.
So I tried. I just made a band. I started singing English song in my university. Anywhere they called me, I went there. There was an Italian pizza. There was an Italian pizza outlet there. They had a live music session. I used to go play there.
Okay.
And the Lahoris were like, for my place, they were like, oh yeah, this guy. I mean, come on, who's this guy singing English songs back in Lahore?
Yeah.
Like 8 p.m. Throw him out and all that. So
Yeah.
bar
And
and
I
all
can
that.
picture that. I can totally
Yeah,
picture that too.
yeah.
Yeah.
And they're having their Italian food, like
Right.
which they have no idea of, like what is it.
Mhm.
And I'm singing an English song, and
Right.
they're like, where the hell are we?
Okay, so there's a quote that I recently heard, and even though I teach this, it's surprising that I've never really realized this. It gave me a big aha moment. The guy who was talking, he said people love the dream, right? They love the destination. Everybody says they want to be an actor, a singer, or whatever their big dream is, right? The $1 billion businessman. But nobody loves the process. And the ones that love the process, they don't care about the dream. They really enjoy the boredom. They enjoy
Process.
the day-to-day grind. Those are the ones that make it. So
True.
the bigger question to ask yourself is not, do you love the dream? Why do you want this dream? The bigger question to ask yourself is, do you want these issues? Right? Do you want the complications that are going to come with it? Because if you can live with that, you'll make it. You'll absolutely make it. But if you don't like staying up till 4 or 5 in the morning, cutting videos and doing seminars and webinars and hustling and grinding, and then waking up at 5 again because you have kids,
Yeah.
you're gonna burn out sooner or later.
True. So what was like through the process? What I learned is when I was doing all of that band thing, I had musicians with me. I had a guitarist, I had a bass guitarist, and I had a percussion player because I wanted to have a full feel of the thing. You know.
Yeah,
So those guys were like always telling me, why don't we sing Indian songs? Why don't we sing Atif Aslam? And why don't we sing
yeah,
something else? Like why do we have to sing? Why do we have to play English songs? And I said, like, these guys are rejecting you right now because they don't know what you are doing.
yeah,
You should trust yourself what you're doing. You are upgrading yourself. They have no idea about what even they are doing.
yeah,
I mean, if they are having an Italian pasta or something, they have no clue what is it made of. They're
yeah,
here just for the grind. It's because it's shiny and all the ambience. They're
yeah,
just here because they just want to have a meal. They don't understand. You are here because you want to learn from life.
yeah,
So
yeah,
learn through the life, learn through the process, and go ahead. We're not going to be musicians like professional musicians doing this, but
yeah.
this is just a learning phase because we are all in a university. We are every day we are meeting. Let's do something good and let's not waste this opportunity.
Okay. So I'm going to relay that back to your work then. So one of the things that I believe in is people are very much interested in doing what's good for them right now or what they want right now versus what is good for them or what they want in the long term. Right?
Yeah.
They have a hard time making that decision because in front of them, like you said, right, singing an Atif Aslam song back in 2010 would have gone you massive hits. Right? He was the biggest star in India and in Pakistan. Like people loved him. I loved
and
him.
and he was from the same university that I was in.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it was like his home ground, and everybody loved his songs. You
Yeah.
just start playing his song, and people, hey, this is the
Yeah.
guy. He's the guy. He's the next Atif Aslam. And I was like, I don't want to be a next Atif Aslam. I want to
Thank
be me.
Thank
I
you.
want to be
Yes.
me.
Be in competition with yourself, right? There's already an Atif Aslam somewhere out there. He did what he wanted to do.
True.
Yeah.
True.
It's so funny because the fact that you're talking about Atif Aslam, when Atif Aslam came out, his voice was completely different from other people. He wasn't the Udit Narayan or the Kumar
No,
Sanu. He was
no,
a little bit
no.
nasally, but very strong minded voices. He has that Sufism in him. When he sings, you tend to get lost because his voice is so transforming, right? And he was rejected a lot in the beginning until he
True.
became mainstream.
Yeah.
And it's funny to me that people gravitate to people who've become mainstream, but they don't look at the grind. Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Atif Aslam, anybody that you take, the grind is forgotten. It's always the destination that's remembered. And it's so alarming to me that people are so drawn to that. So how do you get your clients to say, let's look at the grind first. Let's work on the grind before you start working on the destination?
For me, it's about. I mean, I'm a true lover of the process.
Yeah.
If I have made a process that works for the majority of the people, I will tell them I have a process that works. I'm not going to tell you that you're going to end up having 10, 20, 30, 40 million dollars in your bank account right now. Let's see if you can work in this process or not.
Yeah.
Let's see if this process is for you, or we have to make some changes or a little tweaks to this process.
Yeah.
So let's live the moment, because we don't know what's going to happen 5 years later.
That's awesome.
If you can do something right now, do
Mhm.
it now. This is what I believe in.
That is awesome. Okay, so then tell me a little bit about the 6-step blueprint. I'm very curious to know what that is.
It's to be very honest, it's like my first thing which I wrote, like I wrote. It's just a 10 page process, or a blueprint, you can call.
Okay.
But I'll be very honest with you, for someone coming from Pakistan, it's my first ever ebook.
Okay.
And I'm very happy and proud to say that I produced something of my own.
Yeah.
I've written something of my own through my experiences, through my guide, through the people who have guided me,
Mhm.
and based on that, I have written another book which is like between 40 to 50 pages.
Okay.
I've just finished it. So what happens is that in that blueprint is, if somebody is struggling, like I have struggled to find out my passion in this world, and I had to go to a lot of channels, and I had to go through a lot of rejection, and I had to face a lot of people in order to be where I am right now. So
Right.
if you want to avoid all that, and again, if you want to see if this process can work for you, that's for you. It's 6-step process for the people who want to monetize their passion, who want to first find out what their passion is, because people don't even know their purpose and passion.
Yes.
That's the biggest problem that I face with a lot of my clients.
Yeah. That's absolutely true. I want to show you something. I show this to a lot of my guests that come on board because I totally agree with you. I think people just they don't know what they want to do because they've never really sat down to work on their life. People work in their life a lot. They find issues all day long and they fix those issues, but they never strategize, especially in our culture, right? We've been taught just put your head down, work, 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 and at the end of the day, when you get your pension or your badge, you're awesome, right? And
Yeah.
then you can retire off of that. So I work with my clients and I figure out, I'm like, what is your why? How are you going
Mhm.
to live your life? What is
Yeah.
your 10-year goal? What is your 3-year, your 1 year, your quarterly? And I
Yeah.
feel like even if I don't work with them afterwards, just the exercise of shedding a light on their goals is a transforming event for them because now they know what it is that they want to do. Like, how do you climb a mountain if you can't even see it, right? If you haven't even defined it?
True that. My main the main thing that I teach or I preach to my client is that there is a cost of ignorance that they're paying.
Yeah.
There's always a cost of ignorance because there are things that you know, there are things that you don't know,
Mhm.
and there are things that you don't know even that they exist.
Yeah.
You have no clue. You know what Elon Musk does. You
Mhm.
know what's Tesla. You know what Solar City is. You know he's got the rockets. He wants the Mars, but you don't know what he does.
Yeah.
You don't know what he does on a day-to-day basis to do what he has done.
Mhm.
People don't have a clue. A lot of people have read his book and got inspired. Oh man, this man is amazing. He has built this. He sold PayPal and he had 180 million. He put a
Yeah.
million there, 100 million there, 80 million there, 70 million there, and he rented his house. Why did he do that? Nobody
Yeah.
asked the question. Why did he do that? He had so firm belief in future
Mhm.
through the process for what he has been through, that he could see what's coming,
Yeah.
and he made what he made.
Yeah, I think people want to make it out to be a legend, right? That all these big name, big shots, they do something that's completely hidden from the world, and it's a secret technique. In reality, it's just simple practices, right? It
It's
is
a day in day out you have to grind. That's all. It's
yeah,
nothing else.
it is just consistency on simple practices of doing what you love and just showing up. But like you said, first identifying. Like we've been taught, don't identify, just work.
Yeah.
Just switch that mentality, identify, and then
This
do.
box is this box is for you, and this is for you for the rest of your life. What's
Yes.
inside that box? We don't know, but it's for you.
Yeah.
This is how it's given to us. This is
Yeah.
your box. You have to protect it. This is your life. This is your afterlife. This is everything. And we're like, and you can't even open this box. And I'm like, how can I do that? I
Yeah.
can't do that. I gotta see what's inside the box to see if it's really for me.
Yeah.
If it's
There,
not for me, I'm not gonna do it.
there's an
Simple.
amazing quote from Bruce Lee, and he goes, I am not scared of the man who's done 10,000 kicks one time. I'm scared of the man who's done one kick 10,000 times.
10,000 times.
Right. And
Exactly.
it is, I mean, these guys, they've been around for years preaching this concept. We're just looking for the magic pill. Just if we just listen to them and say, okay, I have the formula. I'll
That,
go follow your path.
that secret sauce,
Yeah.
it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
That secret sauce is consistency, showing up on the day when you feel like you can't even show up.
Yes. I think that's exactly what you said. Showing up on the day that you can't even show up.
That's what I've been doing. I mean, since last 10 years of my life, I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
And I didn't know where I'm going, but I was there and I was best dressed for the occasion. That's what I believe in.
Yeah.
When I was searching for the job in Dubai, I used to wear the best suits I could, even because I never thought about the heat, I never
Mhm.
thought about the sweat, I never thought about what's gonna happen to me. I
Yeah.
always thought about if I land up in front of the right man and I'm not dressed for the right occasion, what's gonna happen?
Well, they say, right? Luck is preparation meets opportunity. You can control preparation. You can't control opportunity. So work on what you can work on. When opportunity shows up, you'll be ready.
True. And that is exactly what happened to me when I was in Dubai. So I ended up working for a Fortune 500 company,
Okay.
and I had no English speaking experience.
Hmm.
I had no same work experience as what they wanted me to do. I had no clue where I'm sitting right now, where I was giving the interview, because that was a far end of the city where they could see the city will be coming up in 5 years. So
Okay.
it was real estate, because I was working for the real estate,
Right.
for the field. So the guy who interviewed me, he said, I don't know if you could make it. I don't know if you're gonna survive. I don't know if you're gonna make it, but I can see in you, you've got that.
Yeah.
You've got that, and I'm gonna try you. We're gonna give you this opportunity. We're gonna see how it turns up. If it doesn't up it turns up for you, you're gonna be thrown out. That's simple. I mean, it's a make or break for it was a make or break for me.
Right.
So they said, I'm gonna give you this opportunity. You're just gonna go ahead and we'll see if it works for you. And it worked for me.
That's awesome. That is awesome. And I mean, kudos to the company, right? Because a lot of companies, they're scared of taking chances. They're scared of failure. It's the ones who say, I'm going to take a chance and see how it goes. Those are the ones that really truly do make it.
True.
Yeah.
That's totally correct.
That is amazing. Oh, Usman, we're getting to the end. I want to make sure that the audience knows how to get in touch with you. So where can they find you and why should they come find you?
They can find me on LinkedIn. I'm always active on LinkedIn with my name, Usman Noor. Why should they find me? If they are struggling to find out their why,
Yeah.
and if they are between the ages of, I'll be specific, if they are between the ages of 25 to 35 and 40, and they still don't know what's happening in their life, and they think they cannot control it, they should look for me.
That's
They
awesome.
can control their process, they can control their life, they are the ones who are in control. It's no other external factor.
Okay. And where can they get a copy of your book, the one that you wrote, the ebook?
It's on my LinkedIn profile, on my featured section. That's the first link. They can go and they can download it from there.
Perfect. All right, guys, and I will make sure that I put a link to everything related to Usman on the podcast channel. So go check him out, connect with him. I've personally seen a lot of Usman's posts, and they're very inspiring. If you just need a pep up right for your day, because sometimes you just need to see something good to get you going, follow Usman on LinkedIn. He is definitely preaching, and he is working on his why every day. Follow him, and then if you have any questions, you can reach out to anybody here. Again, thank you for joining the Cultural Shift, and I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.